Hey guys, what's up? Stephen Manuel here. I'm going to go through a few videos just progressively as people ask for information. So like supply and demand and all that bullshit, you know. So if you guys have any questions or any sort of like training techniques that you want me to go over and give my perspective on, just shoot me I'll post a comment. No, I'll post a status in the group. And then if you guys just want to just comment and just load that thing up with comments, and then I'll just get back, I'll get into them as and when I can, but I'll try and do it fairly regularly. So today, one of the lifters on my Lift Like Screamer program is asking about squat warm-ups, and specifically he gets like issues in his groin. Now I'm assuming that's going to be like inner thigh. When people say groin, they mostly mean that, but the groin is pretty much the whole of the hip. So I'm going to first talk about how I like to design warm-ups, and then I'm going to try and make it specific to squats and the issues my guys having. So I like to try and do sort of anywhere from 3 to 5 movements for a warm-up, and I probably just typically do them as a circuit. It's up to you whether you want to go for timed circuits or you want to do a certain number of reps, or if you're pulling sleds, like maybe just say like 10 meters there and back, then you move on to your next one, whatever it may be. It doesn't really matter how you're doing them. It's just as long as you're doing it correctly and it's effective, and each exercise has a reason for being in there. So I like to try and split it up into like global movements where you get a lot of bang for your buck and you get a lot of blood flowing into the big muscle groups. So that might be something like the exercise that you do in itself. So you could do some squat variations, you could push and pull prowlers, lunges. You could take like a single leg approach. All we're trying to do muscle as we can with 0 to very light weights. As I say, just get a little bit of blood to warm up the joints that are in those, that are responsible for creating those movements, and then we can move on to the next bit, which I'd probably say would be kind of like something that's indirectly involved in the movement. So with squats, obviously your legs are the prime movers, that's what's doing the work, but you also have to be able to thoracically extend at the spine pretty effectively to make sure that you can keep upright and you don't fall forwards. So I would do something like, so first off I would do something like squats or sled pulling, backwards walks, crab walks, whatever, just for the global thing. And then I'd probably move into something that's going to test my thoracic extension. That would probably be just a foam roller thoracic extension, which I'll go over in a sec. And then finally, I like to do movements that are going to help what my weak point is in a lift. So right now, could be a couple of things, but a really common one would be something like knee valgus. So that could be either mobility, your lack of ability to externally rotate at the hip far enough to maintain the knees coming over the toes and pushing out. So if you're tight in that inner thigh, the adductor area, then you're going to find it hard spreading the knees out to the right amount, and then as you come up, the pull is going to be so intense that you're going to need to push your knee in to try and recover, to try and basically go from that stretched position that your adductors don't want to be in right now because they're not flexible enough to handle it, to a more comfortable position for them. So that's probably one of the main things that I would focus on with that. So with that in mind, I'll go into a couple of these specific exercises, okay? Just give me 2 seconds because I haven't brought any equipment with me. Twat. Okay, so the thoracic extensions. When you're doing mobility stuff, there's a couple of things that you want to be mindful of and try and make sure that you stick to. The first of which being, we're not stretching here, we're mobilizing things. So we don't want to necessarily get into a position and just stay there. We want to be trying to move around as much as we possibly can because we're getting ready for sport, and there's no sports that are 100% static where you'll just stay in the same place doing things. So it's important that you wriggle around in these positions to try and increase the end ranges, not just through one plane of movement, but all the different planes that the body can achieve. So, and with regards to timing as well, you're probably going to be looking at like probably 2 to 3 minutes of total work, because when we're doing these exercises, we're getting a certain amount of blood flow, we're increasing the muscle temperature and things like that. And as the muscle temperature increases, that is like the perfect environment for us to improve our flexibility and mobility. So this is done over a prolonged period of time, 2 to 3 minutes, as opposed to just doing things for 10 seconds and then moving on to your next exercise. It'll take a lot longer to improve your mobility if you're trying to do things in a rush. Okay, so with thoracic extensions, all we're going to do here, I'm going to lay ourselves over on our backs, hands by the side of your head. Oh, if your money falls out, just get it at the end. Hands on the side of your head, and we're just going to spread the elbows. Oh, you fucker. Trying to get them down to the floor. What I like to do here, I just tuck my chin, clicks me back about 20 times, and it just feels amazing. So we're moving, going backwards and forwards in that extended position. You can twist. Go back to your extension. When you're extending, make sure you're keeping your bum on the floor. So we're trying to arch over this. This is also going to help you with your bench, arching, being able to keep your scapula retracted throughout. I feel so good. Okay, so that's enough of that. But I'd just be doing that 2 or 3 minutes at a time, and every now and again, maybe every 30 or 40 seconds, getting right over, holding that for 10 to 20 seconds, and then you're back to wriggling around and things like that. So that's your thoracic stuff. Then, so I'm going to address my lifter's specific problem. So he was complaining of groin issues. So what I'd probably like him to do would be to start off with something like a frog stretch. So for this, we're just placing the knees onto the floor, spread as wide as we possibly can, and then all we're going to do from here, we're looking at 2 ranges of movement here, okay? We're looking at how far we can spread the knees, pardon me, but also rocking backwards and forwards in each position, trying to get your hips down towards the floor. With most things in life, sexual noises are optional, but preferred. Oh, you dirty bitch. Oh, elbow clicking. Kinky. Just so you can get the side view in there, you fucking lucky bastards. Again, don't just think forwards and backwards. Twist into it. So you can single out one side at a time. All these movements are so many different things that you can achieve just with using your imagination and just wriggling around. Okay, so that's enough of that. So, just to recap, what we're looking to achieve with warming up, we're looking to warm up as much of the musculature as possible, getting blood flow into the area and increasing the muscle temperature. Secondly, we're looking to make sure that we're attacking things that are important to the lift but not directly involved in creating the movement. So that's why we're doing thoracic extensions for squats. And finally, any kind of potential weak points that you have in the lift, so like knee valgus, chest caving, not achieving depth, things like that. Make sure you have 1 to 2 exercises, depending on how many weaknesses that you do have, 1 to 2 exercises that are going to attack them. And in total, probably somewhere between 3 and 5 movements. Okay, no less than 3, no more than 5. Right, hope this helped. I'll do the bench cues video tomorrow because I'm running out of time to train. So, thanks for watching, guys. Share this video around, share the group around. Let's build a community, and I'm going to end up becoming some kind of cult leader.